Now punishes the blast. Oh, that hit Provo. Diving save. Hart as he flashes across. Maher sets up Carl. Side of the net. Deflected. Score! Maher moving in. Stop. Cuts to the middle. Still has it. Shot. Score! Here's Hughes giving it across. Oh, it's like a save. Save by Hart. Short-handed mid. He scores! Up top, cruising is Provorov. He scores! Ivan Provorov!
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Flyer Up Podcast. I'm your host, Amedeo Grassia, along with my partner, Maher. We are always live streaming on the Painted Lines, TTP Sports and Flyers Fan Media 93. For people who are tuning in late or who just can't tune in at all, you'll always have it on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts at. So we are on the aftermath of the Lake Tahoe Massacre. And right now, all Flyers community is in the overreaction stage and blowing things completely out of proportion when you had a game where you missed 5 forwards and you missed Justin Braun. And yes, Carter Hart did not have his best game. And what did you expect? My one question is, what the hell did you expect? Did you expect the Flyers couldn't beat the Bruins with a fully healthy team? And now you expect them to go out and beat them when they're missing 5 of their top 6 and top 9 forwards? Just like, what is the expectation? Yes, I definitely want Carter Hart to play better, but when you have a 22-year-old goaltender, you're going to go through growing pains. And right now we are experiencing the growing pains of a young goaltender in this league. We talked about this before the podcast, that teams are looking into him. They're looking into his weaknesses, and now it's his time to readjust. It's just, people, we need to take one step back, calm down, stop overreacting, and think about this realistically, because there's way too many people overreacting. They're blowing this entire game completely out of proportion, and typical Philadelphia at this point. It's typical to where they're comparing this entire Carter Hart thing to Carson Wentz for some reason. It's a goddamn joke at this point.
I guess we didn't know we had a quarterback in that. like, what does that even mean?
I don't know. I highly don't. I was talking about this with one of my buddies yesterday, and they're like, what the hell does that mean?
I have no idea. All right. I'm not. Okay, I was pissed. I'll say that. I was pissed.
Yes, you were pissed. But don't lie.
Do you know why I was pissed? Do you know why? Because you know what? They just let the wheels come off. Like, you had a good first period. You gave up a goal 30 seconds in, and you're looking at it. It's like, oh, shit, here we go, right? Everybody's like, oh, great, here we go. This is just like Wednesday. Score early. Can't even get into the first minute of the game, and you're already down, right? Okay. What happens? They come right back down. They get a great chance from the Hayes line. They started getting it down low, whatever. And then they tie the game off a very fortunate bounce. It's some Daniel Sedin type stuff there. The play off the boards. It reminded me of Joe Louis Arena.
That was a weird goal. It was so weird.
And then you get a goal when you take a penalty, when your best penalty killing forward takes a penalty. And then he gets the goal coming out of the box on a broken stick rush, right? Well, then they just have a brain fart and they come back and they tie it. And you still let in shots at the end of the period, 11-9. It was a good period for you. You played good, physical. Okay, do that again. No, they just didn't do it. 46 seconds in, bam, 3-2. That's got to be a save. The second goal, Hart probably could have had that one too. I know there's traffic in front, but still.
You still got
the fourth goal. Yeah, the fourth goal, it's a turnover, but you need a save there. And the fifth goal, it's a meatball right in his glove.
Yep.
Like they needed saves tonight. They just didn't get them. And that's hockey sometimes. It doesn't help that they had 8 shots in the remaining 40 minutes of play. And it's so funny because last year they were a team that gave up barely any chances, right? Barely any shots. And now they give up, I don't even remember the number. It was like, I think they're like second last in shots given up, and they're really low in, I think, shots for.
Yeah.
I think they might be last in shots, and how many shots they have.
Complete reverse of what was last year.
But the thing is does that really matter though? And just listen to me for a minute. Don't, just listen. Because isn't it better to have quality shots than quantity shots? Like, wouldn't you rather have a high danger chance? Like, because if you look at the numbers, they're like one of the best teams in the high danger chances. And that's probably the reason why they're scoring so much is because they don't generate many shots, but when they do, they're grade A quality every time and they're scoring. So is it really an issue? Like, I don't mind if they're getting outshot like that if they can score. But if you're not scoring, then, like if you're just looking at it from the stat side, it's like, oh my God, they got killed. Like that Washington game, right? The February 7th game, one of the last game they played before all the whole COVID pause. They had 7 goals on 23 shots.
Yes.
They had 3 goals and 19 shots last night. You know what I mean? And there's many times, they scored 4 against Boston up in Boston. They scored 5 and 6 at home in the first 2 games of the year. I mean, I think the most aggravating thing out of all of it is that it's already your third blowout in the first 15 games. 6-1 to Boston, 6-1 to Buffalo, now 7-3 to Boston again. The others weren't outside. This is just, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that I thought there was a good amount of things that were positive. I thought Coots had a good game.
I think Farabee had a good game.
Yeah, Farabee, he's 15 games already. He's got 8 goals. He had 8 goals all of last year.
Yeah, missing those forwards, I feel like Farabee's a guy that's really taken the next step in being the next
I thought
man
Farabee's
up.
been good all year, honestly. He had that stretch where he didn't look too hot. He kind of looked invisible, but then he was fine. He had the hat trick against the Islanders, that goal against New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he was right back to himself again.
Yeah. And I think playing with JVR is giving him confidence, and I think that's the reason why, because JVR has been playing so good.
JVR's been fantastic.
Got his 500 point last night.
Yeah, he did. That was on the Coots goal, right? Or no, that was a Farabee goal.
It might have been the Farabee goal, I think, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because we expected some things, and I think the one thing that we kind of needed last night was a big line or a big game from the Patrick line, and you just didn't get it. Yeah,
Patrick didn't even play that much in the game either.
No, what do you have? 12 minutes?
I think so. I'm sure it was 12 minutes or it was under that. He was very invisible the entire night.
It was around that. I'm going to check now just to make sure, but I believe it was around that because, again, it just doesn't seem like he drives the offense like he should.
Yeah.
At times. And it's so tough, though, because you're playing with different line mates and everything. So, yeah, he had 14 minutes and 8 seconds of ice time, 49 seconds power play, and 24 seconds shorthanded. So, it's not. And again, you can add that to when it's already 6-2 and everything and 7-3, whatever the score is at that point.
My one thing with Patrick that kind of looks like there's a difference in it. It looks like he's trying to avoid things avoid contact rather than making the contact himself. Because when you saw in the beginning of the year, he was actually pretty good. He was making plays. He was getting into the forecheck. He was making contact. But now it looks like he's, I guess you can put this back for a couple of weeks so that he's trying to avoid stuff now, which is, I'm not sure if it's another situation where he's lacking confidence. Once again, I don't know how this guy consistently lacks confidence in his own game because he has the skill set to be a good player in this league. I don't know if it's just something going on. He's afraid he's going to get injured again, but there's a really noticeable thing in his game that he's trying to avoid contact now, which is tough.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I think for the most part, it's tough with this because you had 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to even say it's not the easiest thing to get right back in. They had pretty much one full practice, which was, totally different with the lines and everything. You had half of a practice the day before, and then you had a game Thursday and a game Saturday. I mean, you had the travel and everything. It's obviously not the easiest situation for them, and it obviously isn't helping. But, I think it's tough to – I think it's tough to say. I haven't really looked at Patrick like that too much, to be honest. I feel when I say that, I mean eyes glued to him as he's out there. I think a lot of it is just, I think it's tough for them to generate offense when they're getting hounded in their own zone and you're having different line mates all the time and you just can't get the puck out once. And I think honestly, they need to revisit the D pairs seriously because you've gone through 3-4 guys to play with Provorov now. Sanheim, Myers, Gossespierre, Braun.
And Provorov didn't have the best of games yesterday either. That turnover that he had on the last Pasternak goal, oof, it was brutal.
Well, I mean, you can say that about a handful of guys, but again, I agree. I don't think Provorov didn't look too hot. It's tough. I mean, again, I don't want to sit here and nitpick on guys because nobody played good.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them had some mistake that led to a goal. I mean, Hag couldn't even stand up on the fourth goal.
Yep.
And when he did, it was pretty much too late at that point. Hag and Gustafsson is a mess. That is just they really need to revisit that. And I know
we have a comment from Guido Valenti saying he's had enough with Ghost and Gustafsson so far.
Yeah, I really think they need to revisit the D pairs because they just I don't know what they'll do, but there was talk over the weekend, Saturday afternoon, of Ekholm, TS Ekholm.
I was going to ask you that question, honestly.
The Predators, yeah, and I personally I would love it, and I think it's definitely viable.
I would. Like I know there's definitely like precautions that you have to take with this trade because he does have an extra year on the contract, and then you have
Seattle.
And Seattle, the protection with the expansion draft. Are you going to protect this guy? Are you going to leave him exposed and protect Sanheim, Myers, and Provorov? There's a lot of situations that you have to go into a trade like that. Plus, you're most likely going to have to give up a good amount. To get a guy like Ekholm, you might have to give up a first-round pick. You might have to give up a prospect or send a defenseman in return. And
that's the thing. Do you want to do that with Seattle coming up? Because you're essentially could be losing them for more bang than your buck.
Yeah.
It's not going to help.
Or maybe it's like one of those situations where Fletcher has to conversate with Seattle to say, hey, if you don't take this guy, we'll trade you something else, and you take this guy instead, or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe they could load it up on picks because again, Nashville's in that spot where they're in a weird spot because they're either I can't tell if they're rebuilding or they're retooling.
They just don't look good. That's the thing.
Yeah, they don't, and they might be on their last leg with that. Like they still have the star talent. Like there's only a handful of untouchables. It's like Rene, Ellis, and Yossi.
Yeah,
everybody else is pretty much fair game. It looks like, but they still have a lot of talent.
Yeah,
Arvidsson, Forsberg, Duchesne, Johansson.
Johansson hasn't had a good season either, though.
No, I don't think Duchesne has either, to be honest. I haven't really looked at numbers like that, but I don't think many guys have. I really don't think anybody's had that unbelievable start of the season besides if your last name is McDavid or Matthews.
No. Oof.
Matthews is just disgusting.
I definitely want to talk about.
Please talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I want to talk. I want to give an extended conversation on him later, because you just have to appreciate what Matthews is doing so far.
It's insane.
It's crazy what this kid is doing. Just I want to get into that later because I want a whole devoted topic on Austin Matthews and his point streak and just the way that he is playing. But I want to get into some of these comments that are in the live chat. We got Sean Fitzpatrick. Thank you for joining once again, Sean. As always, can the Flyers petition the league just to cancel the last 3 games against the Bruins? Enough of the punishment already. I feel you there.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So 0-3-2 against the Bruins this season. And did we hold Pasternak scoreless last year against us?
Ovechkin is who that was.
I think it was also Pasternak.
Was it?
I think so. So I guess he's just completely overdue to where he scores 2 hat tricks against us.
I don't know. He has how many goals he got this year in the amount of games he's played?
He scored, I think he has 6 against us, maybe even 7. And he's only played 3 games against us.
I mean, in total, he has 9 goals.
And I think 6 or 7 of those are against us.
He had 3 against the Flyers last night, 3 against the Flyers on the February 3rd.
I think so, yes.
Mm-hmm. And those were, and then he played 1 more game, but I don't think he scored. He might have 1 more. He's either got 6 or 7, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. We got a Tales of a Failed Life saying his only positive takeaway from last night was Joel Farabee. He hopes this kid keeps improving. Yeah, Joel Farabee definitely had a good game last night. He definitely, ever since, like I said, when just his entire season, it's been a very good season for Joel. He's overlapped his goal total from last year. He has way more points in as many games last year as he does now. So he's having a good season, and the sophomore slump definitely isn't affecting him. Yeah. So it's really good.
And the special teams was terrible again.
Oh God.
The penalty kill was all right. I mean, they gave up the one power play goal, which was a stupid penalty by Andreoff after the goal.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to take that. Again, it's just playing dumb.
Yeah.
It's just playing dumb. That's all that is. And, you know, they actually had, what was it, two? Did they have two power plays in the first, or they had one in the first, one in the second?
I know Boston I think they had two penalties in the first. Yeah, I think it's what you're talking about there, because the Flyers didn't have a power play until the third period.
Yeah. And they killed that. The Flyers killed the one off and then scored. And then I think there was another one they killed late. With it was like 2:08 or something it was called. So it ended with a couple seconds left in the period. But
yeah, I think Boston
they did a pretty good job with the kill. Yeah, they didn't really let them set up at all. I thought they did a good job with that. And again, for the first one, not having Couturier too, that was even a bigger bonus. And then you get the goal. So that's kind of that's kind of the issue I had. It was like you literally just got. How do you not get momentum off of that? Like,
really good question. And even in the second period too, when you only have we had 3 shots on net, Hayes had this like one great chance from the slot and he missed the damn net.
Myers had the 2-on-1 with Hayes shorthanded that gets blocked and goes sent all the way into the lake. Like, it's so tough to even like complain about the offense. They have 2 guys that have played defenseman their whole career at the wing right now.
Yeah.
In Morin and Friedman. Yeah. Like, what does anyone really expect them to do? Like, I really don't know.
And Sean has a comment about that. Not that it would have made a difference, but what was the logic benching a legit forward in Kasha and converted a D-man to forward in Friedman?
I was kind of upset that they benched Kasha. I honestly wish that they benched Sushko instead.
Yeah.
Because Kasha, he didn't look. It's tough to harp on any of those guys in that Rangers game because again, it's so hard to. Yeah. But still, like, I thought Kasha looked fine. You know, for Kasha, he's just like it's just tough to even like harp on him because it's just the first game and everything. And like, I personally would have rather them, you know, had him in the lineup instead of Sushko. Again, it's not against Sushko. I just thought, you know, Kasha had more of a positive impact at times in that Rangers game.
And I just don't think Sushko's ready at all.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I think it's tough. I mean, it's only 2 games. It's very, you know, small sample size, and it's such a tough situation with everybody going through it. And again, it's not like, you know, it doesn't seem like any of those guys are like used to it either. I mean, it's not like these guys are bums though, you know, but they're all like NHL caliber players that can play in the league. They have to be able to prove something, and it sucks because some of them haven't really shown that they can prove anything, honestly.
Yeah. And we got another comment from Sean here saying that we could talk about the guys lost to COVID, the early injury bug, etc. This team has not looked the same since Niskanen retired. The defense as a whole is just a mess. So would you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, I think Niskanen's a big it's a big loss, but like I think they know that they can still work this out without having Niskanen. You know, like they've shown that they can, like this D can play really good at times. It's just that the consistent effort just isn't there.
Yeah.
And again, as the season goes on, it's going to pick up. Again, there's no reason to be worried about this team. That's why like the Twitter thing is just ridiculous because, you know, you're 15 games in. You can't really say anything too positive about this team, and you can't really say anything that's way too negative either because they've had their moments where they've been really good or where they've really sucked.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, you know, to me, the D is troublesome because as I said earlier, they need to rearrange something with the D pairs, but like, I still think they're going to trade for someone. I think they know they need a top 4 defenseman here.
They do.
And they have the pieces to move it. It's just, what do you do? Because again, if there was no Seattle, they probably would have done something already. Yeah. And that might've been done even before the season started. But if that expansion, like that's the biggest problem is the expansion. And I know it's like, all we talk about is Seattle, but it's a realistic thing because I'm sure all of us know they're going to lose somebody good from that expansion draft. And I would not be surprised if it's a defenseman that they lose because it's not going to bode well for them because they're going to lose a good player.
Yeah, they definitely are. And just like when going back to the top 4 defense, I was talking about this with my father last night. And he was saying the same thing, like that's what he thinks they're going to go to. Besides all the typical talk about Johnny Gaudreau, because my father loves Johnny Gaudreau, and just I can definitely see the Flyers going after a guy like Ekholm if he is available from Nashville.
That would be great.
Yeah, he would definitely slot in who knows? They might even use him in a top 2 situation. Just pair him with Provorov. Maybe he becomes that Niskanen replacement.
That's probably what it would be. My guess is probably will be Provorov, Ekholm, because the thing is Ekholm like to play the right side.
Yeah,
he can play the right side, right? Yeah, so he's a lefty. He's a big left-handed defenseman that can play on the right side. And if you want to do that, you could do lefty, or you could keep Sanheim up there and keep trying that, and put Myers with Ekholm.
Yeah,
and then you could use Ghost, you could use Gustafsson, you could use Hag, and then you have Braun. So again, and who knows what they move out. I mean, like my guess is if they try for Ekholm, it's got to be something prospect wise.
Yeah, I would say at least a draft pick on a prospect or a defenseman in return because
it's probably going to be like something like Zamola.
Yeah,
because they're not giving up York.
Yeah, because you're also going to have to give up someone on the roster too to clear that cap space. Because I think Ekholm makes like 3.75 or something like that,
which isn't too bad for the cap that they have now.
Yeah,
but you also have to factor in all the cap they're going to get put back on from the guys coming off the COVID list. Because are those guys when they go on, does that cap get taken off or no?
No, I think they're still on the cap.
It's still on the cap. Okay, I didn't know if that was a rule or not.
I think it was the situation with Gostisbehere. Maybe he got taken off the cap because he technically wasn't on the roster. So I think something right there. We also got a comment from 9 Philadelphia 9 saying, "Can we put the screws to Alain Vigneault a bit?" I mean, I don't know what the problem would be with Alain Vigneault. He's doing I can understand the question about putting Freeman at forward and benching Kasha, but like. What best does he have to do? He's missing 5-6 people.
Would that really have made a difference?
No.
Like I don't think that would have done anything if Kasha was in. I would have liked to seen him get in, but it wouldn't have changed any of the outcome. You know? Like Freeman and forward, I think, is just to add physical depth into the forward spot. Is my guess.
And like some people are definitely complaining about because they keep bringing up, Alain Vigneault doesn't last too long in the cities that he stays in. Look what happened in New York. Look what happened in Vancouver. Just stop. Just
like I guess like 5-6 years in each city.
I think New York. I know Vancouver was longer. I know New York. It was like maybe like 4 or 5 years he lasted there. But
that was after Tortorella, so it was a lockout year until 17-18, right?
I think so. So that's like 4 or 5 years,
right?
So, like, I know people. That's like the one thing people need to bring up about Alain Vigneault is that he doesn't last long in cities that he coaches. But I don't see a problem with him right now. I don't think he's the problem.
AV is not the issue.
No.
Like, if you think Alain Vigneault is the issue, you might want to revisit watching Flyers hockey because I really don't know what to tell you.
Like the only coach that I would say is an issue might be Michel Therrien and the way the power play is. Because maybe that's an issue too with him.
The power play is an issue, and the setup just isn't.
It isn't good.
It's not. It doesn't work.
No.
Like I give Therrien credit because you know what? They had the same power play setup for how many years? 6 years. Like that's obviously going to get looked at. But I was looking at old film today, and I'm looking at this power play. They would literally shoot from everywhere.
Yes.
Like literally, like they would just bombs away. And it didn't matter where it was. They had a lot more space on the ice. It was just everything they did was just from it was when they went from like the Timonen to the Streit era, like when Streit was at the point, they still had Simmons in front. Hartnell and Shen would kind of be in there too, and obviously Jake and G. And as I said, Simmer in front. So like I don't know. I mean, I think they need to simplify it.
They do.
Because they don't. I look at other teams' power plays, shot after shot after shot. They pass too much, and I know it's the big thing. It's like, shoot it. Like, I'm sorry, I know it gets annoying, but like they don't shoot enough. They don't. And you could say that 5-on-5 too, which I could understand, but again, they're scoring 5-on-5. The power play, they're not doing anything.
No.
So.
It's this because I don't think they have a necessary shooter on the like when you had guys like Shen and Hartnell on the power play, those guys when you always pass it to them, they would shoot in the slot. Like G and Jake were your setup guys. You would either give it to Timonen or Streit, whoever was in the backside, and he would fire one. Even when Pronger was here, he was on the backside, and he would just
Ghost.
Same thing with Ghost
was the shooter,
and then Simmons was the guy that parked his ass in front of the net and he cleaned up the garbage. So I think that the one problem with this team on the power play is they don't have a guy that's a dedicated shooter. All the guys they want to
someone dedicated shooter. You got enough talent. There's no reason why that power play should be bad. You have enough talent on that power play to absolutely kill people. Like that easily could be the number one power play in the league. Easily with that talent, dude. You could have Nolan Patrick, Travis Konechny, and Oscar Lindblom on your second unit power play if they designed it like that. You know what I mean? Like the amount of talent that's just on that one forward unit, just on the power play, you brought Gustafsson here for a reason. You have Myers. You have 5-6 defensemen that could play on the power play. Provorov, Myers, Sanheim, Gustafsson, Ghost. Friedman could even play power play if you needed it to in a pinch. I mean, and again, with the roster they have now, like you have Albe, Kubel, and Raffle on your second unit power play.
Yes.
And that's just with the way the roster is right now. Like, it's not helping, but like JVR has been great in front. Mm-hmm. Keep shooting. Let JVR do his thing. That's been the bread and butter of the year for the power play. Has been JVR's been getting the tips in front, and they've been shooting from the point.
Yeah.
But it's the one last thing. The zone entries are bad on it too. Oh, because when you lose the face-off, they can't even get back in. Yeah,
their zone entries
someone get Joey Mullen on the phone, please. Please.
Yeah, the power play, and then we got another question from Sean. Sean has a lot of questions here. He thinks, or he's asking, who gets the net next game for the Flyers. Honestly, I think it's flip of the coin. I can see either goalie going. I can see Moose going. I can see Hart going. It's just up to William Vigneault at this point.
I see Hart.
You see Hart?
I'll say this, and this is why. You've had 2.5 weeks where you've played 2 games. I don't think benching Hart is going to do anything. Him sitting on the bench is not going to do anything for him. Put him in. Put him in net. He was great in the Thursday game against the Rangers. He had an oopsie in this game. Let him earn it back. Don't sit him on the bench. That's just the stupidest thing. He's not tired. He doesn't need rest. You've played 2 games in the span of 2 weeks. You've had 1 practice. Put him in net. There's no reason for him not to play. I don't see any reason why Hart wouldn't be in net unless it's, God forbid, something injury happened or whatever, or they just want Moose to go in. I don't know. But, again, I would suspect Hart is in because, again, you also have a back-to-back coming out this weekend, Saturday to Sunday against Buffalo at 1 o'clock and 3 on Sunday. So you have to factor that in. My guess is probably I would go Hart Wednesday, Elliott Saturday, and then Hart Sunday.
Yeah, I could definitely see that as a possibility. Then Sean says, out of the goodness of our hearts, we'll gladly give Eric Gustafsson to Seattle in the expansion draft. It's the funny thing, too, is Eric Gustafsson's going to be a free agent at that point, so I doubt Seattle will even pick him.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, the one comment says, don't give up on Gustafsson. I mean, that's the thing.
Huh?
I don't want to give up on Gustafsson, but he's making me want to give up on him.
He's giving you all the reasons, too.
He's giving me every reason to give up on him. I don't think he's done essentially one thing that I've been like, oh my God, Gus, since maybe the New Jersey game. I really don't know. Like, I do not remember the last time I was, oh my God, Gustafsson, what a play.
Like, since the first game of the season where he got the 2 assists on the power plays.
Yeah, he looked great that game. Well, at times because he had a couple turnovers, but still, like, he's just a liability defensively. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give up on him because I like him. He's a good player, and you know what? He's here on a cheap 1-year deal, and if they can work him out, listen, he does a lot of good things right. He's a great passer. His stretch pass is great, and it's generated a lot of chances for them as you're up through the zone. You're in the neutral zone. But, like, defensively, it's just bad. And him with Hag is a nightmare.
It's a definite nightmare. We got kindergarten Chris saying Flyers in all caps. I like that emotion right there, Chris. We got Alex Smith saying he heard that Ekholm is on the block for Nashville. Yeah, that we talked about that a couple minutes ago. We would definitely love to see Matthias Ekholm in Philadelphia. I think that would be a great trade for the Flyers. It's just like, the whole thing is like what you're going to have to give up to Nashville, most likely a draft pick, a prospect, maybe even a roster player, just to shed that shower to bring in Ekholm in. So that's something to talk about. But let's get into some other topics. Let's get off the Flyers for a little bit because I know the Flyers they frustrate a lot of people. So one weird situation is the Artemi Panarin.
Oh God,
it's scary. It's scary. What the hell? It's just like he just comes back from injury, and now he's taking a leave of absence just because of everything that's going on with Russia and everything he's been through there. So like he's taking a leave of absence from the team, and it's a scary situation that he's going through.
Very. It doesn't seem
good.
No, it's yeah. I really don't want to get into detail because it's
very political and it's very like ugh.
It doesn't seem like it's a good thing. Like I don't know. I really don't have many comments on it, but
I mean,
it doesn't seem like it's a good situation at all.
No, it does not at all. Like I'm sure like he's scared for the safety of his family and is scared for the safety of himself. So it's just I wish all the best for him, and just hopefully the situation could get sorted out.
Yeah, because you never want to see that stuff. That's
no
sickening.
Yeah, definitely not. So all the best for Artemi Panarin. Hopefully that gets situated. And also in like some other news around the NHL, the Devils, they're allowing 10% fan capacity now. I think it's around 1,500 fans they are going to allow. And also for people that are here in Philadelphia, the Sixers and the Flyers in the Wells Fargo Center, they petitioned the city officials to try, I think, to get at least 5,000 fans in the arena by March. I think there are going to get fans by March, but I don't think it's going to be around the 5,000. Maybe it's going to be similar to what the Devils got, that 10% capacity.
5,000?
Yeah.
That's like a fourth of Wells Fargo, a little more. No way.
Yeah, I'm gonna think it's around that 1,500 to 2,000 they're gonna get, not the 5,000. But it's maybe having some fans at the games will give the Flyers confidence to shoot, because the fans are gonna be screaming shoot. And honestly,
it'll make games better. I'll say that.
Honestly, hopefully some fans bring some megaphones in here so they could just really shout shoot.
All right. Let me ask you this: if they get fans, you going?
No, I think my dad already told him to okay, just put my money aside for next season. Like, we're not gonna worry about anything going to games now, just because of the entire with season ticket holders, are they only going to offer to people that have a longer tenure and stuff like that, and just it'll be too much of a hassle. Yeah.
If I had the chance and a ride and how do I explain this? I guess the fear, that too, because I'm sure the tickets are going to be a lot of money. I would go. I would. If I could, I would. But will I? Probably not. It's probably like a 5% chance I'd go.
Yeah. You have a better chance going as a press member than I think going as a fan.
Yeah, I think that's I've already been in there, but
yeah, you have
limited amount of people, and it's similar situation this weekend because covering the Phantoms game this weekend with for Flyers nitty-gritty again, playing Wilkes-Barre Scranton, which is the Penguins affiliate, and the Phantoms, they look good, very good. Zayden Wisdom,
yes. That's who I wanted to bring up.
Player in Phantoms history.
Yep.
And he's got 4 goals in 4 games played. He's got 2 back-to-back 2-goal games. He's like 3rd or 4th in the league in the AHL in goals right now. Phantoms are 3-0-1. They got 7 points off the Hart's hot start. And they've played good hockey. I mean, they've had a couple shutouts too. It's funny now. Every time I see a tweet from the Flyers, I always think that it's going to be trade. We have acquired defenseman Matthias Ekholm from the Nashville Predator. I'm just waiting for it. But again, as I said, the Phantoms are playing well, and it's good to see because they were such a dumpster fire last year.
Yeah,
there's so much injuries, guys underperforming, injuries, goaltenders couldn't stop a friggin' beach ball. Like they were just bad, bad team. They were their special teams are 28th and 26th. And as somebody walks into Amedeo's room,
yep, had to be my
it happens every episode. Somebody Somebody walks into one of our rooms.
Yep, this is definitely staying in the Apple Spotify version now because it's funny.
Who was it? Your dad?
It was my mom. I think I got a package from UPS or something like that.
Is it one of those reverse retros?
It is not a reverse retro. I think it's a honestly, should I do a pack opening on a live stream? You think?
Go ahead.
I wasn't expecting this. Okay.
We have literally nothing to talk about.
Yeah, definitely nothing to talk about. I know this is probably good. I feel bad for people on Apple and Spotify that can't listen to this. Ow.
Can't listen. You mean watch?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, my brain is scrambled though. I just like we're just talking about everything and everything like that, and just here's your package.
Hey, you got a package. Here you go. You got mail.
You got mail. Oh boy, here's your first look, everyone, here on the live stream.
Blackhawks jersey.
That is a Blackhawks jersey, yes.
Oh my god. There you go. So the Adidas one?
This is an Adidas one, yes.
Nice. What is it, blank or?
Yes, it is blank. I got this for guess how much?
$40?
Yes.
Nice. There you go. Added them to the collection.
Yep.
I might have to burn this one. They're not good with these jerseys on.
They are not good with those jerseys.
This is pissing me off, man, with these jerseys. I love the reverse retro jersey. I'm sorry.
I love them too, but like
I think it's honestly, and I'm going to say this, and I really don't care. I think it's one of their best jerseys.
Honestly, I can see you argue that.
Like, seriously, I don't think there's many good alternate jerseys that they've had. The black it's all right. I don't really like the black. It's boring.
Yeah.
Okay. It's boring. I mean, you could argue this is boring too, but it really isn't if you think about it.
I personally think
their best old school.
I personally think their best jersey was the 2012 Winter Classic.
Yeah.
I think that's their best overall jersey that they ever had.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the worst one all time is probably the 50th anniversary jersey. That jersey sucked. That jersey was bad.
Yeah, it definitely is bad, even though I do have it in my closet because they gave it to season ticket holders. But yeah, I can definitely see that as a probably the worst jersey in Flyers history. I know some people will probably say the 3D logo jersey that they had was probably the worst, but I do think I
love that jersey. It does pain me to say that jersey did suck.
It does. Oh god! So I guess off the jersey comments, since the the unexpected package and everything. So what were we talking about again?
I think the Phantoms.
Oh yes, we were talking about the Phantoms. Zayd Wisdom, and then now you're going to the game as a member for Flyers Nitty Gritty.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's gonna be fun. Bunch of things to look forward to. I am so happy that the Flyers game got moved to 1:00 because I would have missed the Flyers game. And the thing that I'm trying to do this year is not miss the Flyers game because there's 56 games. That means I want to put out 56 videos.
Yep.
So that's kind of the way I'm going with this. And I've gone all 15 so far, and I don't want to miss a game. Yep. So that game getting put to 1:00 is better.
Yeah, I've been the same thing as you. I don't want to miss one game for just have a video recap. I know I'm slacking with the Sixers content, but it's just like sometimes it's difficult when you have both Flyers and Sixers on at the same time, and I don't have multiple TVs to watch it on.
How are they doing, by the way?
The Sixers, I know they lost last night, but they've been a lot better. Simmons has been a lot better. Embiid is amazing. I know Embiid didn't have the best of games last night because he got double teamed a lot, but Embiid is for sure, I think, the favorite to win the MVP this year. He's been flat out amazing.
Yeah. Guess what happened 1 year today?
What?
David Ayers.
The heart and soul of Steve Dangle.
Yeah.
The worst nightmare possible for Toronto fans.
I thought I would have saw a heart attack on live video on YouTube that night. I literally thought he would have passed out, had a heart attack. That that would have been bad.
Because I can understand being that pissed off because you lost to an emergency backup goaltender who works for you, and he's also a Zamboni driver. But that video was amazing.
He made a handful of good saves.
He did. That was
Like,
an amazing. That was a hilarious video. I still watch it sometimes to this date.
I think it's his most viewed video. It has. I think it almost has 1 million views
I think
on
so.
YouTube.
It's like one of
insane.
those. It's like one of those videos, or like one of the games where they lost the Game 7 in Boston or something like that.
711,000.
Jeez. Yeah.
And the thumbnail was just him like screaming, like pointing to his Zamboni.
Yeah. Steve Dangle is amazing. Hey, Steve, if you're listening to this podcast, definitely check us out. Definitely want to get in touch, even though he's not listening to us at all.
I've been in contact with him, and I was very close to doing some content with him.
Nice.
And I might still be at some point. It's tough because it's hard to get a hold of him.
I can understand that since doesn't he work for Sportsnet now?
Works for Sportsnet. They got the podcast, and he does his own thing. He's got a kid, and he's married, and
Steve Dangle on the podcast soon.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. And speaking of the Maple Leafs, actually, let's get into that Austin Matthews conversation that we were hinting at earlier.
Yeah,
amazing.
He's incredible. I mean,
absolutely.
It's insane watching him. How many goals has he got?
I know he leads the league. I'm checking that currently right now, which it's oh my god, like it's skaters on NHL app. Let's see. He has 18 goals to lead the league this year. Jesus Christ, man. That is absolutely
29 points in 18 games. Wow.
Yeah.
Plus 9.
If you look at other things around the league too, Connor McDavid already has 37 points. Like, how many points is McDavid averaging for this season? Is he like going to average like way over 100?
Well, I think he had a hat trick the other night against Calgary.
He did.
They smoked them like 7-1 or 7-3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Matthews' last 5 games: February 15th, 3 points, 2 goals and an assist against the Senators. February 17th, he had a goal. February 18th, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. February 20th against Montreal, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. And then all the way back February 13th, he had an assist. So he's on a 5-game point streak. He's actually on a 16-game point streak, but he's on a 4-game goal streak. He's got literally 7 goals in the past 4 games.
Yeah. Does he have like a point in 16 straight games or 17 straight games?
He's 2 games off from tying the record of Eddie Olczyk, who is tied for the longest streak in Leafs history at 18. I believe it was Wendell Clark was the other one. They put it up on the board last night when the game was on. It was Eddie Olczyk, and Matthews is 3rd right now with 16. So he needs 3 more games to get a point, and he'll have the Leafs record in 19 games.
Nice.
He could tie it, or he could stay in 3rd, or he could even get 17. But that would be awesome to see him tie that because I love seeing it for Toronto.
Yeah.
For a team that struggled like that, and were so bad years. Like struggling in the playoffs, haven't won a playoff round in God knows how long. I mean, it's I love seeing it because again, I grew up watching Steve Dangle. He's the reason I started doing YouTube videos. I got that inspiration from him, and like seeing him. Like them winning games and him getting happier and happier and happier. It's awesome. And, I think it's cool too because it's a year where like everybody kind of doubted them. I know they're in a bad division. I mean, that division sucks. Essentially every team besides them is like 500 or a few games above it or even below it. Like every team kind of stinks in that. Like the Habs have taken a complete plummet.
Yeah, when the Habs don't play Vancouver, they haven't been talked about as much.
Yeah, they've literally just been bad. I think they have. I saw something they might have like
they lost to Ottawa. I think this second loss to Ottawa from Montreal.
There was some stat that said they had like I can't remember what it was in like the last like 7 games, but it's a really bad stat in the last 7 games they've barely been able to do anything, and I don't remember.
I know they're struggling to score. I know Suzuki has been quiet ever since really the beginning of the season. I think Toffoli has been quiet since he's not playing Vancouver. Yeah, and look for Austin Matthews. He has 18 goals on the season. He's 6 goals ahead of the second place and third place people, which is Connor McDavid and Brock Besser. Like if you're not looking at a Hart favorite, it's definitely Matthews. I know McDavid is definitely going to be up there for Hart considerations, but I think Matthews right now is the clear favorite for what he's doing for Toronto. And even Mitch Marner, he's kind of underrated too. He has 30 points, and he's second place in points this year, tied with Draisaitl.
Yeah, and going back to the Habs, they've lost 4 of their last 5.
Oof.
They lost to Toronto February 10th 4-2, lost to the Oilers 3-0 on February 11th. They won on February 13th against the Leafs, and then the 20th, they lost to the Leafs 5-3, and then they lost yesterday into the Sens in overtime. So they've 4 of their last 5. Their next schedule, I got the Sens tomorrow, Jets, Sens again, Jets, Canucks, and then kind of going, more and more. But yeah, they've struggled recently, and again, like that division is just bad. I mean, you got the Oilers, Jets, and Canadians are all like around the same record, somewhat. Oilers are 12-8, Jets are 11-6-1.
Montreal's 9-5-3.
Yeah, 9-5-3. Vancouver's 8-12-2. Flames are 8-9-1, and Ottawa's just down there.
Bad.
Yeah, I think the Sens have rallied their last few games, to be honest.
When they come back down from 5-1 against Toronto. And it's funny, too, because the other game where Toronto led 5-1, it gave all the Leafs nightmares saying, "Oh, Cab, we're not doing deja vu again."
Yep. I mean, and it's funny, like a lot of those divisions are kind of like that. Like the West is similar. The Blues have 22 points for 10-6-2. Vegas is 10-4-1. Avs are 9-4-1. Like, and nobody's played the same amount of games. Like, Jersey's played 13 games in our division. The Caps and Islanders have played 17. Flyers have played 15. Buffalo's played 14. Dallas has played 12 games, and they're 5-3-4. Like, the Red Wings have played 20 games, and they're still all the way down there. How about Chicago, though?
Yeah, like I was going to say that, like teams that have really been a surprise this year, Florida and Chicago, those teams have been good.
Yeah, Florida's look good. They're 11-3-2. They can score. Like it seems like they can score goals, and they got the Stars tonight. Hopefully that can go on because again, Dallas has only played 12 games from everything that's going on with them, from COVID in the beginning of the year to the weather down there in Texas. Yeah. All that stuff is just really fucking.
The entire situation with Texas is brutal.
Yeah, it's the mess. But I mean, it's relatively easy for most teams. I like Anaheim calling up Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That's nice. I cannot wait to see him. Do the Ducks play tonight? Because I would like to watch that if they do. They play the Coyotes.
Oof.
That probably means that Zegras is going to be making his NHL debut tonight. Most likely is. Probably definitely will be.
Yep.
Because I don't watch the Ducks like that, so I have no idea. I don't know. I don't even know if they could have played the other night or whatever. But they're kind of struggling too, which is expected. They're not that great of a team.
Yeah.
But Zegras was killing it down there in the AHL.
Yeah, he was.
I think like 5 points in 2 games at one point. Like he was just playing really good hockey.
Yeah. It's. I think one of our predictions is actually going to be true with the Canadian division being Toronto in first place.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember my predictions. That's why I hate doing them because I forget them.
Me neither.
Like, who did we say would win that West division? Vegas?
Oof. I think we said Vegas or Colorado or something like that.
What about the Central? We probably said Tampa, didn't we? We had to have said Tampa.
I think we said Tampa was going to run away with it.
Yeah, they've only played 15 games too. So they got a handful of games in hand. Like, it's just so weird to me. Like, the Blackhawks have played 19 games and they're in third. And Tampa's played 15 and they're 1 point behind them.
Yeah, for Chicago, DeBrincat and Kane have been amazing together. They've been great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've put some games together recently. They lost the other night 5-3, but they were on a 3-game win streak before that. And then they won 2 straight against Dallas in overtime 2-1. They had another win before that against the Hurricanes at home. Lost in a shootout the night before in a home back-to-back like homestand against them. So they got 3 out of possible 4 there. Got two game, as I said, 2 wins against Dallas. Lost the game to Columbus 6-5, and then they won 3 straight, and then lost the other night to Carolina. They play Columbus tomorrow at 7. So they've played good hockey recently, but it's crazy because like these divisions stink. Like that division's bad. I hate being in the East Division. I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
So do I.
It sucks.
So do I.
It sucks. I am so happy they only have 3 more games against Boston.
When's the next time we even play Boston after this?
I think it's in March, honestly.
I know it was the same thing with the Penguins. We don't even play them until March either. So we're gonna have a lot of games against the Penguins coming up, and they've been playing better. Yeah, you see the thing for Crosby's 1,000 game during the warm up where everyone was tying their skates.
Yeah, and they all had Crosby jerseys on. Yeah, it was awesome.
That was cool.
They got the Penguins in Pittsburgh March 2nd and 4th. Boston again is not till on the schedule now, which I'd have to go on NHL.com because of course it doesn't go all the way down. They don't play Boston again until March 7th, which that ended up getting postponed. So I have no idea if that was added on the schedule. Remember that when they had the schedule changes not too long ago? They added games. They added Boston March 7th, which is 2 days, so we don't know the time.
They don't play Boston again until April 5th and the 6th. That's the next time they play Boston.
On the schedule?
Yes, that's what I see so far.
Yeah, because remember they had the schedule updates.
Yeah.
And it looks like that Boston's on there March 7th, but there's no date or anything or time. Well, there's a date, but there's no time. But it says it's on the road.
Yeah, because currently I see on this schedule right now, it still says March 7th is Washington at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it says something. Yeah, that's what it says on NHL.com too. It says March 7th versus Washington at 7, and then March 7th versus Boston postponed.
Okay.
So I don't know because again, if that's on the schedule,
that game probably was a Boston game, but then it got rescheduled for a Capitals game.
I think it's the other way around. I think it was actually a Capitals game, and it's supposed to be the Bruins now.
Okay.
I don't know.
This updated schedule is very confusing.
Yeah. But again, the next game on there will be April 5th, as you said.
Yeah.
Is that it's pretty clear cut and obvious, and we'll play them that day.
Yeah. So, well, at least we won't see Boston for hopefully over a month. So hopefully it's changed by then.
Yeah. I think things will. I mean, they'll be getting players back. Hopefully they get a couple guys back for Wednesday's game. That would be nice. I would probably see guys start to come back for Buffalo, is my guess.
Yeah. Yeah, just hopefully by that next Boston game, we can see Matthias Ekholm in a Flyers uniform. That's just going to be a pipe dream so far until it actually happens.
Yeah. You got any predictions for Wednesday? I think they'll win Wednesday. I really do.
No predictions here.
You don't have a prediction?
Nah.
With no Panarin for the Rangers? I think they'll win. I think they have to win.
I think when they get guys in the lineup, I think they're going to play better. I would expect mostly you may see most likely. I think the people that might come back are G and Braun. Maybe
and then the other two, which was Frost and Jake. That's February 11th.
I think so.
G and Braun were the 9th.
Yeah,
it's already what tomorrow would be.
I think tomorrow or Tuesday would be count of the 14 days.
Yeah. So
no, actually, today or Tuesday would be the count of the 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming we're going to get at least 2 guys back for Wednesday. So it's a definite boost, no matter what. So it's something to definitely look forward to. And I think we are going to end it here on the Florida podcast because I guess we're running out of things to say. So I guess we lived, we experienced, and we moved past the massacre at Lake Tahoe. As we all know, the Flyers fans, Philadelphia fans, they're overreaction, just blowing things completely out of proportion as they usually do. But no room in the panic. The Flyers are getting guys back most likely for Wednesday night's game against the New York Rangers. We still don't know who's going to be in net. It's either going to be Moose or Carter Hart. We'll definitely find out probably by tomorrow or game day at least. So, yeah, we'll definitely leave it there. The Artemi Panarin situation is definitely scary. Austin Matthews is an absolute beast. And, you got to witness a jersey opening live here on the Flyed Up podcast. For the people that are still here, because I can tell there's only 4 people watching. But, hey, always appreciate the people that join the podcast live stream. And for people who joined late or just weren't able to join us at all, it's always going to be on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast at. Don't forget to follow us separately on Twitter. For me, Amedeo Grassia 98. For Chris at _Chris Maher on Twitter. And for YouTube, follow TTP Sports. For me, Flyers Fan Mania 93 for Chris. And for just the Painted Lions in general, follow wherever they are: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And now we're live streaming on Twitch as well. So definitely go give the Twitch page a follow. Go check out our public Discord server link. That's going to be the first pinned tweet you see on Twitter. definitely go check that out. And definitely just check out the Fired Up Podcast wherever you are. Our merchandise website definitely will be a link down in the description below. And just don't forget to support the podcast where in any way, shape, or form you can. And we will definitely appreciate that. So for this episode of the Fired Up Podcast, I am your host, Amedeo Grassia. He is Chris Maher. And I think we'll be back before the back-to-back series against the Buffalo Sabres. We will keep you guys in tuned. So we will see you next time.